So Q1 is already over and it's time to reflect on the goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning of the year. If you are like me, you were super ambitious with your language learning goals in January when you decided that this year is going to be the year where you learn a language or you master the language that you've been learning for a few months, a few years. But life gets in the way and work gets in the way, you feel a little bit tired, you start losing momentum, motivation, and before you know it, it's the end of March and you haven't made a lot of progress. That is me. To be fair, I was very ambitious in January when I decided that this year I will be very fluent in German. I haven't done much. I stick to my weekly German lesson. I spoke a little bit of German here and there, watched a few videos, wrote down some vocabulary that I didn't really look at, to be honest. But it is not too late. Only 1/4 of the year has gone by and we can decide that, okay, it's not too late. These were the 3 months of hibernation that we allowed ourselves to have. And now spring has sprung and it's time to get back into our routine. If you struggle to be consistent and to find a routine, I'm going to try in this video to share with you how I would try to implement, or what we could do to implement, the theory and the practical tips from this book that I've read twice already. Once in 2020 when it was COVID, I had nothing to do and really lacked structure in my life. I decided that I needed to form some good habits, and I decided to read it again at the beginning of the year. It was in March, yeah. And I think a lot of those principles we can apply to language learning. Obviously, that's a habit that we want to form. So this book is probably one of my favorite personal development productivity books that I've ever read. It's called Atomic Habits, as you can see. Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, from James Clear. He's an American author and is really brilliant. He uses evidence-based strategies to help you build new habits and get rid of bad ones. So as I said in this video, I will explain the different principles of this book and I tell you how you could apply them to your language learning journey to finally reach your goals. So first of all, what are atomic habits? Atomic, from the word atom, is something so small, so insignificant on its own, but when you put all the atoms together, it creates us. Everything that we know. So the concept of atomic habits is like tiny habits that make you get 1% better each day, so that by the end of the year, James Clear says that you can get 37 times better. He says that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. And knowledge compounds is one of those positive compounds because knowledge builds up. You don't really lose the knowledge that you have. So how to build new good habits that stick and that get you where you want to go? First of all, you have to make it your identity. Decide who you want to be. James Clear states in his book that habits stick when they become part of your identity. Just like bad habits stick when you decide that this is who you are. If you say, oh, I'm a smoker, you're less likely to quit smoking because that's part of your identity. Habits are not just about what you do, they are about who you believe you are. Instead of saying, I am trying to learn French, say, I'm becoming a French speaker. You can even say, if you're not just beginning, you can even say, I speak French. Every small action that you are going to take will reinforce this belief that this is your identity. If you watch videos in French, if you watch movies in French, if you listen to music in French, that's casting a vote for your new self. Because the goal is not perfection, it's consistency. And every time you listen to a podcast in French, you are building this new identity. So one thing that you could do is to write down, I'm the kind of person who speaks French or is fascinated by the French culture or knows 2,000 words in French, or the type of person who can have a conversation, a very comfortable conversation in French. Then, once you have this new identity, it is who you are. James Clear gives us 4 ways of forming new good habits. The first one is make it obvious. You have to cue your new habits with a visible reminder. Place your language book on your bedside table or put stickers with vocabulary on the wall where you always see the words. Put sticky notes also on your fridge, on your mirror, everywhere you can see them regularly. Set your phone in the language that you want to learn. Follow social media content in the language that you want to learn. It's all about building systems, so things that are practical, obvious, evident in your daily life, that will make you 1% more fluent in the language every day. You can also use the habit stacking method. So you associate one thing that you do naturally every day with the new habits that you want to form. Let's say you want to listen to more French content. So every time you get ready in the morning or you brush your teeth, listen to a podcast at the same time. When you're driving to work, listen to the news in French. Every time you have breakfast, you do one Duolingo lesson, or you go through your flashcards with a vocabulary. So you have to make sure that in your environment you have all the cues that will make you want to study, even if it's not sitting down at your desk, but you need visual cues all around you. Put the app that you're using to learn the language visible on your phone, on the first page of your phone, for example. You can also write it down and say, every time I do this habit, make my coffee, I will watch one TikTok in Spanish. If you already know and are clear with your routine, then your routine that you want to set, you're more likely to do it. For me, it's once a week. I watch a video every Saturday before my German lesson. I watch a video, I write down 10 to 15 words and I stick them on my wall, and throughout the week I just look at the words, and before the next lesson, the next Saturday, I put them in my Quizlet to review them the rest of the week that follows. The second law of behavior change is make it attractive. Of course, if you don't find learning a language attractive in any way, you're not likely to do it. So you have to pair learning a language with something you really enjoy. You like to watch Netflix? Do it in Greek or whatever language you're learning. If you want to study or do some written exercises, you can do it in a nice, cute coffee shop. Listen to content or watch content that you truly like, music that you really enjoy. Otherwise, you just add friction. If you want to scroll on social media, like me, do it in your target language. If your brain sees language learning as a chore, it's less likely to do it. Just like if cleaning your apartment sounds like something you really don't want to do, maybe do it listening to a very cool, uplifting playlist. Use products that smell really good, or watch a show at the same time. James Clear calls that pairing something you don't really feel like doing with something you really enjoy, temptation bundling. Bundling? So something you should do, exercise, with something you really like to do, watching a series. Once again, I really recommend writing those down. So you will write, I can only scroll on TikTok in my target language. Third law of behavior change is make it easy. Reduce friction once again. So instead of saying, I'm going to study for an hour, let's reduce that to 2 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 minutes of Duolingo. No pressure. You just open the app, 2 minutes. If you don't feel like doing more, just close the app. You've done it. James Clear says consistency and regularity is more important than the quantity. So if you break your streak more than 2 days in a row, then you've completely let go of that new habit. You don't want to break your streak. If you break it one day, it's okay. Just like Duolingo. If it's not sponsored by Duolingo, by the way, I'm just talking about it just because I've used it so much. If you break your streak for one day, that's okay, freezes your streak, but then you have to go again, otherwise you lose the whole thing. So build a low effort routine so that you're more likely to do it every day. Listen to a podcast for 15 minutes. You don't have to listen to a 2-hour long podcast. It's okay. Listen to one song, watch one TikTok. You should be able to scale down your habit for 2 minutes. It's the same with exercise. Go to the gym, you tell yourself, I'm only going to exercise for 2 minutes. And chances are you are going to want to stay because you went to the gym. You're not only going to stay for 2 minutes. Same with your language learning. If you start listening to a podcast, you might enjoy it and listen to more than 2 minutes.
It actually was kind of fun.
So One of the biggest mistakes that you can do when it comes to forming new habits is setting the bar too high. If you tell yourself you're going to study for 1 hour a day, I think most people, me included, we're never going to do this. First of all, I have a lot of work, I have other things to do. You might have children or pets or friends, activities. It's not sustainable. So just bring the bar down to something that's sustainable, even if it's just 5 minutes a day.
I want you to realize you set the bar too high.
Remember, 1% better every day. That will lead you to be 37 times better at the end of the year. Write down one sentence in your target language every day. One sentence. It doesn't even take 2 minutes probably. And finally, the last law of behavior change is make it satisfying. Celebrate the little victories. Reward yourself. Just ticking off a task on your to-do list or a day on your calendar instantly gives you a shot of dopamine that will make you want to continue. You can use a habit tracker, for example. There are a lot of different templates online that you could find. You can use Notion, you can use Google Excel sheets, anything. You can record yourself speaking once a week and watch your progress grow. Watch yourself make progress. You can even join a community online for extra motivation. So every small win is important to celebrate. Being able to make a longer sentence, talking to a native speaker, understanding what the cashier tells you when you do your groceries. That's me. It reinforces the habit loop and keeps you motivated. So here we are. Let's recap. First, make it your identity. I can speak Spanish. I am learning Spanish. I'm a Spanish speaker. Then use the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Language learning is not about motivation. You can't always, any new habits that you want to form, you can't rely on motivation solely, because motivation comes and goes. You have to have a little bit of discipline, the start. They say you need between 20 and 30 days to actually build a new habit. So give yourself time, but in those 20 to 30 days, have the discipline to really stick to the new habits that you set for yourself. And so it's not about motivation, it's about discipline and the systems that you put in place. Your routine, that's what I like to call the routine. So every morning when you prepare your coffee, you do 5 squats, 5 push-ups, and you watch 1 TikTok in Italian. If you're not on TikTok, obviously you can do anything, read a page of a book in Italian or listen to the radio for 5 minutes. Could be anything. I like TikTok, so, Atomic habits are atomic because they are really small. You shouldn't set the bar too high, and in order for it to work, they have to stay small because they help you stay consistent and actually make progress. 1% better every day. Don't forget to make it fun and enjoyable. This is the most important in my opinion. Because if you don't really like the language that you're learning, like the culture of the language that you're learning, like the different tasks that you set yourself to do, you're not likely to do it on the long run. So I guess that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I really, really recommend this book from James Clear, Atomic Habits. It really helped me building new habits that not just for language learning, for a lot of different things, exercise, eating healthy, sleeping better, everything. So let me know in the comments which habit you are going to start today for your language learning journey. If you're interested in having more content about French learning, language learning, the different resources and more videos and stuff, I'm starting an email list. It's completely free. So the link will be in the description down below. You can just add your name, your email, and what you would like to find in a free newsletter email list. And also I would like to add a paywall just to provide more content, more in-depth content videos for people who would like to subscribe. If that's something you would be interested in, just click the link in the description. And don't forget to like this video, it really helps my channel. Subscribe if you want to see more content about language learning, tips, motivation, and also in-depth talks about the French language. Share with a friend who needs to build new good habits and want to really stick to learning a language this year. and I will see you guys very soon for a new video. Bye!